Thank you. Hi there. I've just got two questions. My first one relates to hydrocarbon technology, our addiction to it, and how do we wean ourselves off this technology and the geopolitics associated to it. How do you see us getting from where we are heavily addicted to the Venus project where we are not addicted? I know you have a lot of questions about how do we get from here to there, but my question is mainly focused on energy. My second question is, have you considered a move into politics to take the establishment on, sort of head on, and sort of take the zeitgeist movement forward to like a vote in public where people could even like vote for it?
Well, the second question, politics is really something that at the end of the day would be phased out as we know it in the future. It's not a legitimate institution. It's not based on anything but people promoting values, the public identifying with those values arbitrarily, no information, no scientific understanding, no education, no scientific knowledge of city planning, of any organization. When Sarah Palin becomes President of the United States, we're not surprised in a second, would be a perfect testimony to what politics actually represents. It's this mind-numbing system of complacency where people feel satisfied when they hit that voting button so they don't have to ever think about anything anymore. It's a self-generating oppression system.
I guess what I'm saying is sort of like, it's almost like a step progress.
Yep, no, I understand what you're saying, and people brought this up before, using the political system as some type of soapbox, if you will. And I've had people say, oh yeah, I'll run for whatever, and do it just for the publicity of it, which I completely support. I think it's beefed a lot of money to do any type of political office. So if someone has that kind of resource, I wouldn't do it. But I think somebody else, if they want to do it on that platform, especially if someone who's been in politics for a little while that sees the light, but they're already in it, and then they move and do it, because what they're doing is they're moving into a system that they actually want to eradicate, which is a kind of a unique notion in itself. As far as the first question, the energy transition, we could do tremendous energy shifts right now if there was any interest to do so. Unfortunately, the investment that's required is so colossal, and the return is so distant. There's no monetary system driven by short-term gain, and if you can't get short-term gain, you get very little motivation, regardless of the lack of sustainability problems on the horizon. They should have been doing, even for the hype on global warming and climate destabilization, regardless of what you believe, it's obvious that oil is a problem in what we're doing. So even if oil wasn't real, there's still a very dire need to stop burning all of this stuff. They could have done this a long time ago, so there's a reason they're not. It's the monetary system that's the problem. So how do you usurp the monetary system in that regard? Frankly, it would take a huge investor right now to initiate that, which you think would be there as well, just for a multi-billionaire that's willing to step forward and initiate these processes, but that doesn't happen either. So if your question is that it's really hindered by the system, I have no idea, except the fact that you have to bypass the system. As far as I'm concerned, you're going to, as I mentioned in the film, you have to bypass the system if you expect to see a revision, a complete revolution, if you will, of energy infrastructure and energy sources on this planet, because there's no way in hell any government, any country can be able to afford it, especially now with the debt collapse that's spreading around the virus.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that the biggest threat to us at the moment is energy and our consumption, and peak oil is the biggest threat. I think that if you could raise awareness for that, I think the first step you could actually have people vote for a government that would freely support a not-for-profit sort of development of alternative energy. So you could have 700 billion, whatever it was, investment in or people where they're working not-for-profit to find alternative solutions to hydrocarbon technology, etc.
You'd help.
Yeah,
you would certainly help.
People like yourself, for example, were to run the government where that was the interest in getting ourselves off this technology, where people could go and research in an environment, in a not-for-profit environment that's supported by the state, that could perhaps wean ourselves off such a thing, and then develop this technology in an environment which is not-for-profit.
I wish it was easy to do as easy as you say. You've got to bypass the ultimate element of the system that supports it, and that's the need for monetary acquisition at all costs and the maximization of that. And unfortunately, and that's why it's brought up in the film the way it is, everything that this system is about is against what you talk about. Even with non-profit institutions, even with governments, attempts. Look at all the attempts that's been made to try and get governments for decades now to change its energy policies, and what good has it done. I mean, even the Green Party is just, you'd think the public would be all about a Green Party in some country, but they can't see it. They have far too much experience with their little dyad of liberals and Democrats and the arbitrariness, and they're not comfortable even moving them to something new, unfortunately. So all I throw my hands in the air and say, I wish what you said could easily come to fruition. Obviously, your logic is sound, so I agree with that. But will it happen? You know, something's going to happen, that's for sure. You know that.
But I doubt you have. Because...
I got one.
Oh, cool. Thank you for coming, everybody.